Girls Invent for inviting me to do this video. So what was something in my life that I had to sink or swim? Probably the most recent one was when I decided that I no longer wanted to do the PhD program that I was enrolled in, that I wanted to leave university altogether and get out and get a job into the real world. So basically how the university system in Australia works is that you do an undergraduate degree, so generally that's a bachelor's in something. I did a bachelor's of biomedical science, and then if you want to continue on with your studies you can do a postgraduate degree, which is either a master's or a PhD. So I enrolled in a PhD program after my bachelor's of biomedical science, and because during my bachelor's I had discovered that I really liked scientific research and I wanted to continue down that path, and I thought the only way to do that was to enroll in a PhD program, so that's what I did. I enrolled in a PhD program, and at first it was great. I was doing research and I thought, this is amazing, I loved it, everything was going well. And then just before the 2-year mark I had a bit of a mental breakdown. I didn't want to go into the lab anymore. The thought of going into the lab and doing research made me anxious, it made me a bit depressed, I just didn't want to be here anymore. So I spoke to a few people and decided that I no longer wanted to do my PhD and I just wanted to quit and give it all up. So I went to my supervisor and said I wanted to leave, I no longer wanted to do my PhD program, and she basically said, no, you can't do that. So after that conversation with her, I took some time off. I took myself on a trip away to New Zealand for a month and it was great. And then I came back and thought, okay, maybe I don't want to leave all of the work that I've done, because doing a PhD is a lot of hard work, and I thought, you know what, I don't want to leave all that hard work behind. So I spoke to a few people about what I could do, and I decided to change my PhD to a master's. And that's exactly what I did. I put in all the forms and I worked as hard as I could for the rest of the time, and graduated with my master's in research. And that was great. That was the best decision I think I made out of that situation. In science, they make you think that if you want to continue into a research pathway, the only way to do that is to get a PhD. I'm here to tell you it's not. There are many other ways that you can go to stay into science and to stay into research, but when I was doing my undergraduate degree, that's what they made you think, so that's what I did. And a lot of people were telling me, you're smart enough, you're determined enough, why don't you do a PhD? You can get into the program easily, it'll be great, it's good for you. And well, I thought, yep, that's great, that's what I want to do. When I actually started doing it, it wasn't really what I thought it was. So it took me a while to get there, but I did, as you know, eventually quit and move into a different pathway. I came out the other side with a master's degree by research, which is basically a shorter PhD. And I moved on to get another job in science in the research field, and it was great. Having a master's has not impeded my success in any way whatsoever over having a PhD. If anything, it's probably made me more valuable and more useful to my employer and what I want to be. So what would I tell my teenage self that I've learned? First of all, I would say only you know what you want to do. A lot of people who may have your best interest in heart will try and tell you what to do, and they might have your best interest at heart, but only you know exactly what you want to do. And if you are smart, or even if you're not smart and you want to get into science and you don't have the grades, you can still do it. A lot of it's got to do with determination and persistence. I was very persistent, I was very stubborn, and I decided that I could do whatever I wanted. So that's what I did, and I got into anything that I wanted, and I did not have the best grades out of high school. So a lot of it's got to do with persistence and determination. So right now I'm employed as a research assistant at the University of New South Wales in one of their research facilities, and my current science research focuses on adoptive T-cell therapy in a model of B-cell lymphoma. So basically, adoptive T-cell therapy is when you take T-cells out of the body, which T-cells are your main cells that will fight cancer. You take them out of the body and you grow them in a lab so that you have a lot of these T-cells, and then you inject them back in to, for instance, a cancer patient's body. And now that you have a lot of these T-cells that can fight cancer and you inject them back into a cancer patient, you would expect that these T-cells would fight the cancer and the cancer would eventually go away or shrink. However, what they're finding is that if you have a later stage cancer and a lot of tumor cells, that these T-cells are actually not killing the cancer cells, and they're becoming what has been termed as exhausted. So they're not dead, and they still function in some ways, but they just won't kill cancer cells. So my research focuses on why they become exhausted and whether or not we can reverse this exhaustion and turn them back into normal functioning T cells that will fight cancer. As for the message I'd like to say to young women who would like to get into the STEM field, don't let anyone tell you that you can't. You can do whatever you want. Remember that only you know what you want to do and what's best for you. Don't let other people try and talk you out of it. And if you want to get into the STEM field and you don't have the best grades, a lot of it's got to do with persistence and determination, so you can do it.